This banner breakdown features the very strange Adrift banner. Now, normally when these banners release, I am working on these videos and then I'll play through the story once I'm done with the video and I get it uploading. Well, this banner is just so darn weird that I had to play the paralog maps just to know what's even going on and why everyone is dressed up like Azura. I understand that they are in Azura's dreams, so I guess our characters are dressed like her because that's what she wished for. I don't really understand everything that's going on, but it seems like Loki is trying to cause more mischief by using Azura's dragon blood. Then I feel like she hints at stuff that may be more important to book 3. Anyway, today we'll be looking at the new weapons, skills, and stats for each of these 4 units. I'll also be trying to provide some build options along the way. First up, we have female Corrin. She is a green infantry dragon, only the 3rd one for the game. She comes with some very good stats: 41 HP, 31 attack, 37 speed, 32 defense, and 27 resistance. 37 speed is fastest for all infantry dragons, and that ties Summer Young Tiki for fastest dragon overall. Her other stats are all pretty good, and she is quite balanced. Now, something crazy to note is that this new female Corrin almost power creeps female Kana, who released this year. Both are green infantry dragons, but Corrin is only short by 2 defense points for beating female Kana in every stat category. Now, for most of the dragons' popularity in Heroes, you mainly see super tanky but somewhat slow dragons with crazy enemy phase builds. Speedy dragons aren't seen as often, but with new dragons like this female Corrin and Summer Young Tiki, they just become so annoying to have to deal with. Not only is female Corrin built for speed, but her base kit takes things to a whole nother level. Before we discuss her new skills, let's talk about her old ones. Corrin's special is Draconic Aura, that's nothing new. However, it may pair nicely with attack and speed bond for that attack boost. Sticking with the team is what Corrin wants to do because she also comes with Fortified Dragons, attack and speed boost for herself and defense and res buffs for her dragon teammates. We still aren't done with the stat boosts just yet, because Corrin comes with a new unique dragon breath called Draconic Rage. It's got 16 might and it's our first dragon breath to have the special cooldown trigger -1 effect. Its second effect involves more ally positioning. If the number of Corrin's allies within 2 spaces is greater than the number of foes within 2 spaces, then she gets +5 attack and speed during combat. So this is actually the same effect on legendary Lynn Swift Mulligear. Take note that your allies must outnumber the enemy within 2 spaces. Sometimes these effects say greater than or equal to, but this effect specifies only greater than. That means you cannot have equal amounts of allies and enemies. You can have 1 ally and 0 enemies, or 3 allies and 2 enemies, but not 1 ally and 1 enemy. So Draconic Rage looks like a pretty crazy weapon. Its effect is very defensive in nature because when you bait the AI to attack you, generally you set your whole team up around Corrin and the enemy is moving away from their own team. Corrin doesn't have the most amazing defense or res stats, but they are both very serviceable. Her entire base kit is centered around staying with her team, and with Fortified Dragons, hopefully it's teams with other dragons on board. Let the enemy come to Corrin and she can activate Draconic Rage and attack and speed bond for +10 attack and speed. That would put her at 41 attack and 47 speed. Have fun with that. Don't forget that this breath has that flat cooldown reduction too, so not only will Corrin have a ton of speed, but she can activate her specials faster. Now, Corrin's second new skill is our second dual Rally Plus skill. Rally Attack and Speed Plus grants +6 attack and speed to her target ally for 1 turn. Basically, this is a Hone Emblem team buff. Very powerful, and it's literally double the power of the regular Rally Attack and Speed skill. Considering female Corrin also has Fortified Dragons, she can buff up 1 dragon ally with full +6 buffs to all stats. Pretty nice if you ask me. For builds, it's pretty easy to just make a few additions to female Corrin's base kit. If you like Draconic Rage, then play to its defensive playstyle and put Corrin next to allies so that she can bait enemies in. If Draconic Aura and attack and speed bond activate, Corrin will have 57 attack including her weapon and 47 speed. Absolutely disgusting, and you want to avoid attacking into that. To keep Corrin a bit healthier, give her the Close Defense Sacred Seal just for the extra defense and res. For specials, I think Bonfire is better than Draconic Aura if you use Close Defense. Now for B skills, this is where you can pick any powerful skill you want. Renewal is super simple to keep Corrin going, but there are things like Wrath, Special Spiral, Vantage, Chill Attack, Delve Close, Desperation, Guard, or even the new Null Follow-Up, which we will talk about shortly in this video. With so much built-in speed, Corrin will be very tough to attack into, and she is also getting a ton of extra attack. With Draconic Rage lowering her special cooldown, if she doubles you, she can activate any 3-turn specials as well. Now for another defensive setup, you can forgo attack and speed bond for steady or warding breath. With Draconic Rage's cooldown reductions, Corrin can instantly proc bonfires when she takes 1 attack. Add in Wrath to all of this, and if Corrin were to take a nasty hit, she gets extra damage on top of that bonfire proc. Most dragons don't run Wrath because they aren't that fast, but for the ones that can, it can create some really nasty setups. Another thing that you could run is Aether here, since it gets turned into a 4-turn cooldown. Unlike other Aether builds for dragons, with Draconic Rage, Corrin can use Steady Breath to activate Aether in one round of combat without needing to get doubled herself. She must double the enemy, but with 37 base speed, bumped up to 42 with Draconic Rage active, she shouldn't have a tough time. Now this version of female Corrin could run some more offensive builds, but you may not want to use Draconic Rage in that instance. It clashes with the sit by your team playstyle, even though the -1 special cooldown is nice to have for that. You could try to make it work, just don't expect Draconic Rage to always be activating during offensive plays. For our second dragon, we have male Corrin in a dress. Male Corrin finally gets his dragon form, and he is a blue infantry dragon. He has 42 HP, 35 attack, 35 speed, 31 defense, and 24 resistance. Male Corrin is pretty similar to the new female Corrins, but he sacrifices a bit of everything to boost his attack stat. 35 speed isn't bad at all, and he actually becomes the fastest blue infantry dragon. His HP, defense, and res are all pretty average for dragons, nothing too crazy. In terms of ult skills, male Corrin has Dragon Fang, the stronger but longer cooldown version of Draconic Aura. He comes with attack and defense bond, which is nice, and his support skill is Hone Dragons. If you were looking for some new additions to your Dragon Emblem teams, then male Corrin and female Corrin will both be good to have. For weapons, male Corrin has Draconic Rage too, so it's the exact same as female Corrins. With similar stats and the same unique weapons, the two of them will play almost the same besides their color. However, male Corrin brings a very interesting new beast skill to the game. It's called Null Follow-Up, and it's restricted to infantry units only. Finally, army units don't get another new skill. Feels bad for flyers and cavalry, but Null Follow-Up will be infantry exclusive. So what does it do? Null Follow-Up has two effects. First, it disables the enemy's follow-up attacks that are granted from skills. So this is things like Quick Riposte, Bold Fighter, or weapons like Ephraim Sigmund. Second, it also disables the foe's skills that prevent your unit's follow-up attacks. So notably, that would be things like Wary Fighter. Basically, the premise of Null Follow-Up is that it turns every fight into a regular speed check. No more messing around with all the crazy guaranteed follow-up effects. What Null Follow-Up actually hard counters the most is Breaker skills. Breakers grant the user a follow-up and then prevent the enemy follow-ups, and both of those effects get cancelled by Null Follow-Up. I'm unsure if Null Follow-Up cancels multiple guaranteed follow-up attacks, but I assume it does, so you can't run two Quick Riposte effects and still expect to double. It would just stop both of them from working. If that turns out to be wrong, I'll update the description and my pinned comment. Now, since male Corrin is very similar to female Corrin, I'm not going to be repeating similar builds. They can both pretty much run the same things if they want. For male Corrin, you can try keeping Dragon Fang because we are adding Heavy Blade to the mix. If Corrin doubles and procs Heavy Blade, he can also activate Dragon Fang, which will be doing 30 damage if Draconic Rage and Attack and Defense Bond are both active. Null Follow-Up is where the interesting stuff can happen because Corrin just completely stops so many strong skills. He can push through Wary Fighter, and he disables Bold Fighter and Vengeful Fighter from granting 2 attacks. I'm not looking forward to seeing this skill because I am sure it will mess up all kinds of builds. Corrin can even attack into a unit, and he can get rid of their Quick Riposte, which so many units depend on. Male Corrin isn't slow by any means, but without attack and speed bond, he does fall behind his counterpart. You can use Darting Stance to bump up Corrin to 46 speed when defending, assuming Draconic Rage is also active. For specials, I think you could also try Astra here, best used with Heavy Blade. As long as Corrin's base damage is equal to or more than 20 damage, Astra will outdamage Dragon Fang. For a unit that can pass 60 magical attack, that shouldn't be much of an issue. Our third unit is Mikoto, who is our one new unit. Mikoto is an infantry healer with 38 HP, 35 attack, 32 speed, 20 defense, and 26 resistance. 35 attack ties Jenny with the highest attack for infantry healer group, and her 32 speed makes her the 4th fastest healer in the group. With a decent offensive stat line, Mikoto does sacrifice her defensive stats, so you don't want to let her take many hits. Now, Mikoto has some amazing skills. Her healing skill is Martyr Plus, and her special is Miracle, both nothing new. However, Mikoto has Brazen Attack and Resistance, which is pretty cool to see on a healer. She also has Infantry Rush 3, which gives infantry allies the Heavy Blade effect if they're within 2 spaces. I believe both of these skills were only on limited time units, so for a permanent unit to have them is really good. Out of the 4 units on this banner, I think Mikoto has the best shot to be demoted, and if she is, then we will get access to some really good skills in the 4-star pool. For Mikoto's weapon, she comes with the Flash Plus Staff. If she attacks, then after combat she inflicts a status on the enemy and any foes within 2 spaces that prevents them from counterattacking. So this actually isn't a new staff, this is the exact same as the Candlelight Staff that Bride Lynn has. Some things to note is that it does not prevent counterattacks on its own, so you will still need Dazzling Staff to stay safe. Since Flash Plus is an inheritable staff, I do believe it should have access to the Dazzling Staff or Wrathful Staff upgrades. Now I can bet a lot of orbs that they're going to give this staff to healers in PvE because we love to abuse enemy phase units, and this staff can negate those builds. Getting hit by Flash Plus won't let you counter at all, and as such, it's best used in conjunction with a teammate who can follow up with an attack. I don't have too much to add in regards to Mikoto's builds. If you plan on using Flash Plus, then definitely use the Dazzling Staff upgrade, since not getting hit back is pretty important. Mikoto does have high attack, so in theory she is a good user of Wrathful Staff if you can get it. If you wanted her to be a more offensive threat, then she will need some kind of speed boost. As for Infantry Rush, it's a great base skill for a healer, and if you have an infantry team, it's obviously a great choice. She is definitely a good support unit for the two Corrins who can both stack their attack stat pretty darn high. Our final unit is Camilla, who is a red flying mage. With this ult, Camilla actually fills all three colors for flying mages. Spring Camilla for green, Summer Camilla for blue, and now whatever this Camilla is for red. Considering we have regular Axe Camilla and New Year's Camilla is a flying sword user, I'm going to go ahead and place my bet that the next Camilla is a lance flyer. Anyway, Camilla has 36 HP, 37 attack, 30 speed, 17 defense, and 30 resistance. 37 base attack is really good for red mages, and that ties for highest in the class. 30 speed is about average, but not horrible, and 30 res is somewhat good. Her low HP and defense makes her prone to physical one-shots, so try to keep her out of harm's way. In terms of old skills, Camilla has drawback for assist skill. Attack and res bond is great since both of those stats are Camilla's strong points. Gold flyers is pretty common from Paula, so it's not crazy to see. Camilla does have a unique weapon called the Book of Dreams. It grants a flat +3 attack, which puts Camilla at 40 attack and then 54 attack with her weapon's might. Book of Dreams' second effect is that if Camilla is next to an ally, then she inflicts a -4 debuff to the enemy's stats during combat. This is only the second time we've had in-combat debuffs, so you should know that in-combat debuffs can stack with regular field debuffs that come from skills like Attack Ploy. You can also think of this effect as Camilla gaining +4 to all stats, just as long as she is next to an ally. Book of Dreams synergizes with attack and res bond since Camilla is buffing herself and debuffing the enemy, which widens the stat difference even more. It's a cool weapon, but it's going to be mainly a defensive one since you need to be next to an ally. Camilla's second skill actually works with Book of Dreams too. Attack and res link grants +6 attack and +6 resistance to both Camilla and her ally if a movement assist skill is used between them. So the link skills grant a field buff, and that can stack with in-combat buffs like attack and res bond. That's +11 attack and resistance from these two skills. Add in Book of Dreams debuffing the enemy by -4 to all stats, and that's like adding +15 attack and res in total, not to mention the enemy losing 4 points of speed. All around, Camilla does have a base kit that synergizes pretty well together. For build, you can pretty much just keep everything and add an iceberg to take advantage of all that resistance stacking. You can see that if Camilla can set up everything in her kit, she gets a ridiculous amount of extra attack. You can try to give her some extra speed to go for a more offensive build, but since Book of Dreams and the bond skill require an ally next to Camilla, she may not be able to consistently activate them. With all the res stacking, Camilla should be able to tank mage as well, and with her monstrous attack, she will put a dent in a lot of enemies. For something a bit more interesting, we can try to use ploy skills to stack debuffs with Book of Dreams. Camilla's neutral 30 base resistance isn't bad, but Fury can bring it up to 33, and this will work best with a plus res nature. Res ploy and speed ploy would allow Camilla to deal more damage and hopefully double, since speed ploy's -5 speed debuff will stack with the -4 speed debuff on the Book of Dreams. Just wanted to remind people that stacking debuffs in this fashion only works because Book of Dreams is applying an in-combat debuff. It's the same way that in-combat buffs stack with field buffs. That wraps up this banner breakdown. In summary, female and male Corrin are both fast infantry dragons who can stack a ton of attack and speed thanks to their unique Draconic Rage Breath. Mikoto is a high attack infantry healer with the Flash Plus staff that prevents enemy counterattacks. She also has some amazing skills on the side. As for Camilla, she is a flying red mage with sky high attack, and her base kit only stacks on more attack and resistance. Her Book of Dreams tome also applies an in-combat debuff, and those can stack with regular field debuffs. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this rather odd banner. I think one of the most important aspects to this banner is going to be Null Follow-Up. It's going to be a rare skill, but with all the other skills that grant follow-up attacks in the game, it can mess up a lot of units. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.